Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Misbehave, a virtual reading. This is our virtual table where you will see several performers pop up as their scenes begin. I'd like to thank Geoff for hosting this on Twitch. And this evening, we'll be reading, as I said, Let's Misbehave, a new jazz age play by Lawrence Gullo. At this point, I would like to introduce our cast. You will see them as they enter, not presently. We have Sebastian Crane providing stage directions, Geoff Moonen as Elwood, Abe Goldfarb as Morris, Lewd Alfred Douglas as Jasper, Kyra Sims as Hazel, Viktor Devonne as the politician, Iris Explosion as Bianca, Renee LeJeune as Beau, Luke Reynolds as the vicar, Leanna Renee Hieber as the Countess. At this point, we are going to begin Act 1. Enjoy. Let's Misbehave.
Act 1, London, 1930s. Interior, Elwood's darkroom. Elwood is a young photographer with his sleeves rolled up. It is too dark to see, but as Elwood speaks, he switches on his studio lights. He is preparing photographs from trays of developer. As he speaks, he hangs photo after photo on a line to dry, decorating the space.
We were children, raised during an unspeakable war. The shadow of another creeping onto our horizon. As unavoidable and terrible as the sunrise after a great night out. These years were our playground. They were for us alone to inherit, to discover ourselves like an unknown country. To forget again, as though it were a dream. But it was not a dream. For an instant, between one atrocity and the next, we were real. And we were dreadfully happy. I take pictures. There's a debate these days as to whether it is an art or simply the operation of a device. I'm the wrong person to ask about that, but this I do know. Taking flattering portraits of people does tend to produce heaps of friends. I wouldn't say my motives for the craft are entirely pure. It's a rather expensive hobby, and my parents aren't too keen on my interest in the decadent life of the young and idle. But I think I'll stick with it, even if I feel sometimes I'm running toward the edge of a cliff.
Interior, a cramped nightclub with a postage stamp stage, night. On the stage is a performer in the midst of a half and half act, in which a performer skirts obscenity laws by dressing in a half feminine, half masculine costume and dancing sensually to music. The audience is a mix of working class music hall attendees and young costumed club kids who mingle seamlessly. Elwood is front and center, perhaps with his elbows resting on the stage, mesmerized by the act. The act ends, and Elwood stays there as the audience disperses around him. A young, effeminate man, Jasper, approaches the stage to light a cigarette for the dancer, who leans down for it. He takes the cigar from his own pocket and lights it for himself. Elwood notices them. Jasper is very elegantly dressed and would look out of place if it were not for his heavily rouged cheeks and kohl-rimmed eyes. Elwood mistakes him for a woman.
Ah!
What? Never seen a member of the upper classes before? No, I see you probably haven't. Threepence for a look if you're going to stare.
Jasper holds out his hand for an admission fee.
I don't mean to be rude. I'm just fascinated with these short haircuts some of the ladies are wearing lately. Did you go to a barber's, or was it done by your, ladies' maid?
Smart women? I'll give you a smart woman. What cheek. I'd stick my dog on you, sir, if it wasn't visiting the lab at the moment.
Oh, crackers. I'm dreadfully
Just
sorry.
because a man slaps on a bit of rouge on a night out, you think it's acceptable to go around assuming things willy-nilly about his willy?
Oh, crackers, I am sorry. It's hard to tell in this light who anyone is, and look, I'm a cameraman, and I'd be so honored if you'd sit for me. I think you're just a splendid-looking chap.
Suddenly, a cry of revolution mutes the band, and a figure in black hoists a pirate costume flintlock from across the dance floor. The audience parts in a line, but looks markedly nonplussed. This is Morris, a haggard young man in shabby ink-stained clothes.
Die, Aristo leech scum, and send my regards to your parasitic ancestors at the Devil's Serving Hall!
Morris stops the play to grab a balloon from the party decor and awkwardly passes it over to Jasper, then steps back and brandishes the gun again.
Long live the Emperor!
As Morris aims and fires the gun, Jasper pops the balloon with his cigar and pretends to have been shot. He collapses theatrically, still clutching his cigar between his fingers. Elwood stoops to get Jasper's final words.
Tell them my last words were, fuck the pores.
Jasper expires. Morris runs back over and kneels by him.
My God, they haven't got blue blood at all. He's bleeding red like a human being. Oh, Voltaire, how could you have misled me so? Whee! What have I done?
Jasper comes to life, breaking the drama, and licks Morris's cheek, which is met with schoolboy revulsion. They lose the attention of the crowd. The three come to their feet, and Jasper continues to address Elwood as though nothing happened.
Take my picture, you said.
Oh, no, that's not fair. How come you want his picture and not mine?
It's because I'm beautiful, Morris, and you look like the unfortunate offspring of a flat-chested suffragette and a King Charles spaniel.
Yes, take your picture. It's going to be for a series that
Lord Jasper Pips of the Highgate Pips.
Nice to meet you, Lord Pips.
Jasper.
Jasper, I'd like to take a good posed photo in my studio. It's going to be for a series of...
Upstairs, Jazz, upstairs. Bo said 10 minutes to midnight.
Jasper pushes his head away.
Sounds lovely. Where is your studio? I never go south of the river, mind.
Here's my card.
Come on, Jazz, upstairs.
Morris and Jasper link arms and go off.
Where are you going?
Upstairs to the real party.
The Countess's party, personal friend of ours, you know.
Personal friend of mine, he means.
There's another party up there. Might I come with you?
Don't be ridiculous, dear boy.
No plebs. Strictly no shabbily dressed plebs. Except me.
One peasant is amusing. Two are the beginnings of a revolution, and we don't want that. See you soon, Master Elwood, for my portrait.
Jasper brandishes Elwood's card as they exit. Elwood visibly deflates. Projection. The image of Jasper's portrait, looking like a fantasy prince in a style that should remind us of Cecil Beaton, the flash of a bulb. Interior, Elwood's studio space, day. It is a humble but very neat flat, with the majority of the room invaded by set dressings, curtain lights, a few scarves, a fine chair that doesn't match the room. Jackets are tossed on a small bed. Jasper is lounging with a glass of something. Elwood enters, having come from his dark room, brandishing a print. He presents it to Jasper.
Well, what do you think?
You know, it's rather good.
Oh, come now.
How much do you want for this? I'd like to buy it off you.
Oh, you can keep that one. If you'd like another copy, just toss me some pennies for paper. And actually, I wanted to ask if you'd be comfortable with my submitting it to a society paper, since you're a lord and all.
I suspect they'll eat it up. Good luck to you.
Jasper finishes his drink and gathers his jacket.
I suspect Mummy and Gran will want a copy. Your grandmama just adores pictures. She thinks photographs turn into ghosts after one passes. You know, put me down for a dozen. There are a few people I'd like to haunt.
Jasper, I've been wondering something. Why do you charge people money to have conversations with you if you're this well off?
Sorry, slight pause while a siren goes by. If you give something away for free, people don't value it. Keep that in mind, will you? you will charge more than the cost of paper for someone's vanity.
But you did sit for me. That's worth something too. And I wouldn't charge a friend for a vanity picture.
Friend, am I? Well, whatever makes you happy, Elwood. Just don't spread it around. Morris is my only friend, and I hate the scamp.
Elwood sees him out and looks over the set a moment. He picks up the phone.
Picture papers, please, Southhook. Hello, mags, please. Yes, mags and social. Yes, hello. Hello to you too. I've just done a piece for Lord Pips. Jasper Pips, of the Highgate Pips. No. Oh, crackers, really?
Oh, no, chappie, no such person. There's a Lord Pips of Cornwall, but he's been dead for 4 years. We'll take some ghost photography, though. Those are always a scream. His daughter is always fighting off suitors, they say. Why don't you find her?
Oh. No Jasper, then? No, he didn't look 60 or dead. Perhaps you'd like to run it anyway. It's one of my favorite... Hello?
He hangs up the phone and looks at his now worthless photo.
A dozen. Indeed. Another joke. These people.
Interior, the cramped nightclub with a postage stamp stage, night. It is the same mix of people. The performer is doing a reverse striptease to the sound of a saw being played. An enthralled Elwood has his camera and a flash stick under his arm and is standing next to a disenchanted Jasper.
Isn't it a marvelous party?
No.
No?
Certainly not. It's dreadful.
Oh, I didn't realize.
My dear boy, you must begin to cultivate your air of superiority. Otherwise, no one will believe you're worth anything, to say nothing of your little pictures.
I thought you liked my pictures.
I do. I do very much.
So what's the point of behaving as though everything you do is a chore?
It's the look of the thing. Our grandmothers had fan language, and we have an all-encompassing attitude that nothing is good enough for us. If we keep this up during even the most stimulating diversions, then everyone will think that we, in actual fact, are the Queen of Sheba. That'll be threepence for the contemporary social wisdom.
Elwood is distracted by the performance.
Sorry, I lost most of that.
Oh, well done.
Morris glides by the pair, brandishing a dented pocket watch.
Well, well, would you look at the time? 10 to midnight?
Upstairs the clock.
Elwood looks bitter, assuming they're going to leave him again.
Time to go, Master Elwood. Come on, there's a good chap. Do bring your camera, don't you?
What? I'm invited to the upstairs party.
The Countess wants to know who took that stunning picture of me. I told her the otter was entirely in the sitting, but not in the lens, and she insisted on it anyway.
Is it going to be a real countess this time?
Casual, chaps. We don't want any plebs following us.
Elwood. That's too casual.
Interior, the Countess's flat, night. There is a full band here, which could be faintly heard downstairs. Amongst the crowd is a middle-aged vicar carrying a trombone case, weaving through the dancers toward the band. There are serving girls wearing snakes for jewelry, and an altogether more wildly dressed group of people. Beau, a young woman with false eyelashes, is dancing by herself and nearly bumps into the vicar.
Oh, where'd you come from?
Good evening, Beau. Sorry, the music in here is crazy. Don't you look pretty?
Thank you. I'm glad someone thinks so. Are you playing tonight?
Naturally, I'm playing. Music is the expression of the soul's exuberance, whether it be fat handle or fat swallow.
I'm so pleased your soul is feeling exuberant. I shall stay close to the band. How long until it gets really hot?
I'll turn the heat up just for you at the witching hour.
Oh, time to let the boys in.
Beau negotiates through a curtain to open a window to the fire escape, where Jasper, Morris, and Elwood are waiting in the cold.
Come on, boys. It's time to ascend to heaven.
How come you're sneaking into this party, Jasper? I thought you said you knew this countess.
front doors are so mundane, dear boy. I like roughing it every once in a while. Why else would I keep Morris around?
Oi!
Now, boys, I remember what the vicar says. We are all superior aristocrats of the spirit.
Are those new garters, Bo?
Naughty boy. Oh, who are you?
Elwood, Miss...
He shakes his hand.
Bo.
She pulls aside the curtain after making sure the coast is clear.
Welcome to the real party.
Midnight has struck, and the sound of the crowd swells. It's more of a bacchanal now, with guests wearing animal heads, gender-fluid costumes, and the Medusas are filling glasses from ornamental jugs that seem to have originally been flower pots. The same performer from downstairs now performs a proper striptease and is showered with gifts from the audience, which they peel off their own jewelry and costumes. Morris distributes pamphlets to the guests and carries on like a madman representing a political candidate that wants to dissolve the government. Jasper, Bo, and Elwood have settled on a love seat with full glasses. During the performance, he's begun to take out and assemble his camera.
I've always felt that the camera's lens penetrated the superficial surface and revealed the soul. Most of these people are obsessed with the surface. The surface masks the pain or discontent below. But what happened to giving a man a mask so he'll tell you the truth? What if the mask is so dreadfully important that it cannot be separated from the person's soul? What if the surface is all they've got?
Do you think I'm pretty?
Well,
Yes, Bo, you're pretty. Shall we get a drink, my lady smuggler?
Red wine, darling.
You'll turn your teeth pink.
He slips into the crowd.
Like a bloody zoo up here.
A zoo? Oh no, there are no cages in here, Elwood. It's more like the jungle. Do you do films then?
Still photography.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you shoot films? Do you shoot film stars?
I wish I could shoot them. Now, I used to track the movements of horses and pouncing cats and mundane things like that with my dad. Scientific stuff. I just started shooting models. I quite like it. That's why I moved down here.
I'd like to sit for you. Do you have to be naked?
No. I don't shoot nudes. Not yet, that is.
I don't like being naked. My dresses are part of my self-expression. I made this one. Isn't it pretty? I like green. It's so fresh and absinthe doesn't stain it at all. See? That's from 3 weeks ago and it hasn't even been washed.
Aren't you clever?
Look, here come the wild animals.
An imperial procession straight from the Satyricon passes by, including half-naked men with gold and bronze paint splashed over them, carrying a litter, actually just a small table, with a woman draped across it. She is in her 50s or 60s, heavily made up with loud red hair and covered in jewelry. Her frock brings to mind cinema stars like Alla Nazimova. This is the Countess. On this occasion, she appears to be costumed as the goddess Isis. Her cheeks are cut across with shimmering blue paint, made to look like tears. She is wailing in sorrow while also waving regally to partygoers who applaud her and shout, "Hail Isis."
Hail Isis. Oh, she's lovely, isn't she?
Don't tell me that's the Countess. Is this another of your pretend aristocrats?
Oh no, she's married to this funny little Spanish count. That's what she really is. But this week, she's the goddess Isis. Heaven knows what she'll be next week or even tomorrow. I wonder how many worshippers you need to acquire before you become a real goddess. I reckon it's something around 6.
At least 12 apostles, surely.
And hail our poor friend Bernard, who perished after 18 years of loyal service.
Wails theatrically.
Ah!
And Jasper follows behind, holding an enormous stuffed iguana posed nobly on a plank of cherry wood. Its little head is crowned with a laurel wreath. The crowd yells, "Hail, Bernard!"
Hail, Bernard!
Is she serious?
Of course she's serious. I won't be missing Bernard, though. Not to speak ill of the dead, but he's put runs in my stockings more than once.
The Countess grandly steps down from her litter and approaches Elwood, real Sunset Boulevard style. Out of instinct, he stands to meet her. One of her half-dressed servants pulls off her mourning veil, and she presents her jeweled hand for Elwood to kiss. He shakes it.
You. Are you that demon of the flickering light?
Photographer, you mean?
Phantom catcher? I've known you for 10,000 years, and each century reveals a new facet to your treachery.
Does it?
You were the master of spirits in my court. You captured my late husband in your little trap, flattened on your silk screen for all to see like a stretched hide. Oh, horror! The gladiators were frightened by your magic and they tore you to pieces. Though it was a fine day. How I have missed you, and how young and mortal you look. It must be the hyacinth we planted on your grave does wonders.
Yes, I try. Countess, I heard you may be interested in sitting for me.
No!
Oh, sorry.
I shall appear to you a vision on a clear night when the planets have paused in their dancing, and you shall know that the time has come.
She backs away as though fading in an expressionist film, her veil dropping over her face again. She disappears with the help of surrounding party guests. Elwood is shell-shocked.
Oh, she likes you.
I'm not sure what to make of that.
I'm sure she'll have your picture blown up to a tapestry and hang it all over the house. Won't that be grand?
Bo shrieks as suddenly Jasper lunges at her with Bernard the iguana. She spills her drink.
Jess, you naughty boy, you've made me splash myself.
You should drink faster, darling. What am I always telling you? Full glasses are dangerous.
Do dry up, Jess. Oh, my dress. I should have stuck to absinthe.
Just wring it out over the bloodstain by the window. That's what everyone else does.
Bo gets up to wash out her dress. Jasper plops down next to Elwood. The iguana is in his lap.
Listen, Chappie. The Countess went bedlam over you.
Is she ever not? Bedlam?
She wants to sit for you. I have given her your address.
Oh, did you?
You can kiss me later. I don't want to muss up my rouge.
I'm going to take some pictures. Is that a vicar playing the trombone?
Want your jazz hot? Want it quicker? Want it with a kicker? Come on down to the Comtesses and see the jazz vicar. He'll lay it on thicker. He's quite good, you know. You'd never guess he's got a parish full of middle-class stiffs tucked in their beds somewhere.
I imagine half the guests here will come to him for confession tomorrow morning.
He goes closer to the band and aims his camera, taking some shots of the vicar. The flash attracts attention.
Oh, bollocks! Who let the fucking press in?
I'm not press.
A large man from the crowd wearing a mask over evening wear, a politician, approaches Elwood.
Young man, there is no one of consequence at this private party. If you are not a guest, I suggest you leave.
This is Master Elwood. He's my guest. I suspect you haven't heard of him, you ogre, because he is an artist. So don't go fretting your pretty little head about any of your parliamentary cronies seeing you in compromising positions again.
This is met with dismissal and groans of, "Not another artist," from the crowd. But the politician is riled up.
And since when did this place become a club for fairies?
For punctuation, he grabs Elwood's flash and smashes it on the floor. It lands near Bo, who has come back from cleaning her dress and arrived to see what the commotion is about. Elwood positions himself behind Jasper for safety.
Calm down, parasite. You almost hit the lady.
That Ponce is no lady, and neither are you.
The politician pushes Jasper, who until now has stayed completely still and confident. He makes a move to grab Elwood's camera, and a furious Beau yanks her heel off her foot and thwacks his arm away. She beats him back until the crowd envelops him, recognizing him as a fun killer until the Countess orders him out of her house. Beau fixes her hair. Elwood is aghast.
Well, it's good to have a woman around to defend your honor, isn't it?
Yes, my hero.
Beau looks unhappily at her shoe, which has lost its heel.
Oh, bother.
Held still, Cinderella.
Jasper puts Beau's shoe back on.
May I buy you a drink?
Only if you take my picture while I'm drinking.
She hobbles over to the bar, leaning on his arm. Jasper waves them away and has his cigar lit by one of the Countess's half-dressed servants.
Why drinking? Is that so important to you?
Elwood, I have risked my friendship with a wealthy woman to sneak 3 useless chaps into this party, and they have done nothing but ignore me, splash me with wine, and involve me in a bar brawl. It's not exactly the worst night I've spent, but I think I'm entitled to a drink, don't you?
You're absolutely right. Well, what's the story we're telling with this picture?
Oh, you must put in it in this society papers and tell them that I'm a rich American heiress gone wild from the sudden escape from Prohibition. I've been taking baths in gin to keep my you-know-what in perfect working order.
Oh, that's revolting. They won't print that.
I've seen them imply worse, those papers.
You are just about the bravest girl I know.
Owen provides Beau with a drink and positions her for a picture. She likes the attention.
Well, usually the boys take care of each other, but you just never know what sort of tiresome people you'll run into, even here. Why are boring people so outraged by beauty?
I couldn't say.
I know. Perhaps you should start sleeping with the Countess so she'll buy you a new flicker stick.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm her type.
She's not your type, you mean?
Oh, I like ladies. I like all types of ladies. Especially clever ones who can make their own dresses.
Catches her reaction with the camera.
Press! Press!
Please don't get me killed.
I'm only joking. What will you use these for?
I don't know. I'm just experimenting, really.
Oh, how lovely to be able to do something for oneself.
I'd like to put together a book one day. Of colorful types, you know, like you. I'd get your permission first, of course.
That seems like it will take such a long time. I want to see my picture now.
I'll print one for you, of course.
A pair of performers are preparing to do an experimental dance tribute to the life of Bernard.
Oh, you are sweet. Come, let's dance. I've seen this number too many times in rehearsal.
We see the dance number. This is a bit of foolishness and purely here to give Beau a chance to change for the next scene. I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes here. A large projection of the snapshot of Beau, looking very happy with a full glass, the pop of a flash. Exterior, an accessory shop, day. There is a counter with handkerchiefs and a few wooden heads with hats displayed, both gentlemen's and ladies. Elwood is looking uncertainly in the shop, in the way people who can't afford to buy anything do. Beau, dressed and presenting as a man, comes out from the back to clean the dust and dust the counter. She works here and is not out. She is shy, closed off, and discontent, but doing her job. Elwood doesn't recognize her. There's a cis woman working here too, Bianca. She is restocking shelves.
Excuse me. I'm looking for someone who works here. A young lady named Beau?
Beau looks up from the display glass she's cleaning. She is horrified. When it appears he has recognized her, she escapes to the back room.
Sorry, Oh, crackers.
It slowly dawns on Elwood that the clerk is Beau. He realizes the situation. He met a woman absolutely free to be herself, then ambushed her here, where she is not free, and it is dangerous for him to know about it.
May I help you, sir?
I was actually hoping to talk to the clerk who was here just now. Do you Do you know what? I can come back later.
George is busy right now, but I can help you. I know all about men's things. Did you want to look at the pocket squares?
I can come back.
Sir prefers to be served by a gentleman.
I didn't think so until very recently, actually.
Don't go. I'll see if George can come out and see to you. Sometimes a man knows what a man wants, right?
Bianca slips out. Elwood looks sick with guilt and confusion. Beau reluctantly emerges from the back, cloth still clutched in her hand. She doesn't make eye contact and is aware that Bianca can hear all that goes on.
Can I help you?
Gosh, what short haircuts the ladies are wearing these days.
Yes.
You know, I would like to look at some of these silk squares.
He just can't help being happy in her company, despite the situation. He uses the excuse of picking out a handkerchief in order to invite a touch, to be close to her, to smile at her. Her behavior changes from introverted and uncomfortable to reveal a hint of the person she was at the party, a gleam in the eye, a little conspiratorial smile.
This one suits you.
I'm not sure. Can I feel it?
It's very soft, see? Hand-rolled silk.
That is nice. What about the darker one?
One moment. There.
Don't be cross with Morris. He told me you worked here. I came to give you this.
He gives her a little print of her drinking at the bar. She takes it in both hands, looking as though she might cry.
Oh.
I know, it's not very good. I just thought the light off those little beads in your dress was interesting. I thought you'd like it. My studio stuff is better. I've got a swell studio in my flat.
I look like a girl.
Oh, you do like it. Good. You look like, well, you look exactly like you. I'll take this one.
He pushes a silk square across the counter as Bianca walks back in. Beau hides the picture in her pocket and finishes the transaction.
Well, goodbye.
See you soon.
Yes, yes. I hope so. Have a good... Yes.
Interior, a small cafe, night. The cafe has a scattering of moody students putting on makeup to prepare for going out. Morris enters carrying a battered case he can hardly lift, throwing off his gait. Hazel, a waitress, pushes furniture out of his way so he can sit down without wrecking the place.
Able for one Quasimodo.
Black coffee, please. Very black. Consistency of rich farm mud, not filthy gutter mud, pure farm mud.
Morris sits at a window and hefts his enormous bag onto the unsteady table, disturbing other diners. He unclasps the case and lifts off the top to reveal a fully reamed typewriter. He begins typing away furiously and talking to himself. He doesn't notice Beau entering the cafe.
We have always existed, and we will always exist. Try as you may to erase us, try as you may to kill us, torture us, ridicule us, feed us to your dogs, drive us to self-harm with dehumanizing legislation, lock us away in hospitals with the lunatics, quietly dispose of us in shallow graves. We will always be here. We were kings once. Kings!
Goodness gracious, are you all right, sweetheart?
Your coffee, sir. Will you be having 2 aspirins as usual?
Morris, are you trying to destroy yourself? Do you want me to get Jasper?
For fuck's sake, you pair of gorgons, leave me alone!
Outrage is part of this process. Just keep it from picketing the other customers again for me, all right?
Beau sits down.
Italian soda, love.
Yes, please. Morris, I need to speak with you.
Ignoring Beau, Morris is staring at another patron near him, an elderly woman who is having scones and has dared to put the jam on first.
What? Why?
Morris.
You'll have a soggy scone.
Did you tell the new boy where I work?
The clotted cream acts as a barrier. Jam on first. You animal!
Because... Are you having opinions about cream tea? When did you ever have cream tea?
Oh, Jasper. He converted me. I told him it was disgustingly lavish and my usual dry toast would do, but he made me try it and it was like an angel weeing in my mouth. If I go out with him again, I'll have 7 of them and become a disgusting patrician like him.
Did you tell Elwood that I work at the shop?
Well, you do work at the shop.
No, I don't. George works at the shop.
What, you don't like this chap?
Morris. George.
Oh, George. You dressed up like a bloke, George.
How could you? He knows now, and he'll always see George when he looks at me.
Bo, I'm sorry. I plumb forgot. I just never think of you that way.
You have the luxury of forgetting.
I only ever met George the one time, remember? When I came in for my braces. I'm sorry, it was unforgivable. I thought you liked him. I thought you'd want to see him again. Well, I wasn't really thinking at all, I guess.
He takes her hand.
I hate George. I hate pretending to be him.
He's not bad. He's just unhappy, isn't he? And not as much fun as you are. Anyway, I don't think you're giving this Elwood bloke enough credit. He takes Bedlam in stride.
It's hard to tell. I've had fellas be sweet to me and then turn into monsters when they find out.
That's not going to happen. Jasper and I are keeping a very close watch on that boy. He makes a right arse of himself, but I think he's decent. And if he turns into a monster, I know a very good place to dump his body into the Thames.
Please don't. Don't even joke. I hate that kind of thing.
Well, did he make an arse of himself or not?
No more than usual. Oh, but I so like that he only knew me like this. Now it feels spoiled.
He was bound to know sooner or later.
Yes, but it would have been nice if I decided when and how.
They halt their conversation as their drinks are served, and Morris holds Bo's hand. She laces their fingers together.
Keep me company while I write.
Only if you can write without shouting.
You're really asking a lot of me today. Remembering things, paying attention, not shouting!
I know, and I'll be asking you to use the lavatory next.
I refuse to be ashamed about the incident to which you refer. The hedges outside Buckingham Palace were a delight to water, and it was worth the thrashing I got afterwards.
Interior, the hallway of a ratty flat. There is water damage down the walls, and we see the door to a flat. There's a picture of a pineapple hastily taped over the number. Elwood knocks on the door. He has his camera and a stand tucked under his arm. Morris opens the door a crack. He is sopping wet.
Oh, fuck.
Morris?
Oh, God, not you too. Everyone says hello now. Hello, hello, even in the street. Everyone seems so fucking surprised all the time. Look, repeat after me. Hello is for telephones.
Hello is for telephones.
Good day is for people.
Good day is for people.
Now say it all together.
Hello is for telephones. Good day is for people.
That's it. Well done.
Morris shuts the door in his face. Elwood frets a moment, then knocks on the door again. Morris opens it immediately.
Good day, Morris.
Oh, that's better. How'd you find me?
Jasper said we could use your picture window for a shoot. Is this a bad time? Are you having a bath?
I'm writing my manifesto. So yes.
Please, Morris, surely your manifesto can wait.
Lights go up on the inside of Morris's flat. There is a clawfoot bath in the middle of the room, and a desk rigged up to hold his typewriter so he can work on it while he's sitting in the bath. There are papers scattered about, a few ladies' magazines, and books, and various household appliances with tags and notes on them. There is a poem written on the wall and window with lipstick. Morris gets back in the bath, and at the back of the room, Jasper is opening a large window to let in the light, swatting at the dust. He is dressed for the outdoors with a walking cane.
Well, far be it from me to keep a man from working.
Heidi-ho, Elwood.
Heidi-ho is just fine to say, but you bite my head off for hello?
Jasper is quoting Cab Calloway. God, you're so out of touch.
Please ignore him and come immortalize me. He's in a dreadful mood and I'm feeling quite benevolent.
Morris types furiously on his typewriter while Jasper and Elwood set up a shoot with the natural light of the window.
That's good to hear. I don't take natural light shots very often. I like the control I have at home, so keep in mind, these are purely experimental.
I'm glad you're experimenting. Those lights in your studio give me the horribles.
Elwood sets up a shot and manually poses Jasper.
Be sure to make me look like a modern adventurer. I've always thought I was suited to the intrepid outdoor lifestyle.
There's only so much the camera can do, Jazz. Perhaps if you'd brought your elephant gun.
Elwood takes a shot and changes the position of the camera.
Jazz, can I ask you something?
You can afford it.
Do you recommend turning queer?
You're already queer, sweet lad. You spend your life looking through a little box and making things go poof, and then hiding away in a room without any lights.
I mean, do you think I ought to do some introspection?
Don't be disgusting.
I just thought perhaps I ought to really sit down and have a think about whether I might fancy chaps.
Why? Who do you fancy? Oh, God, it's not me, is it?
Oh, no. No. I fancy Beau, actually.
Beau's not a chap at all.
No.
Believe you me, I know a lot of chaps who fancy chaps exclusively, and Beau wouldn't interest them. She's a different sort of lady, but in a way, aren't we all a different sort of something? I know I am.
Different from what?
From,
Jasper, did I actually stump you into silence?
No, I've rarely encountered such an ignorant person, that's all. I mean, I usually surround myself with learned men. I mean, do I have to teach you all the basics?
That's the thing. I don't want to be an oaf about Beau. How does one go about romancing a girl like that?
I couldn't possibly say, old boy. Why don't you ask Morris? He's your resource on women.
Really? I thought you two were, well, you know.
What?
You and Morris. You're sweet on each other, right?
That agitating schoolboy? Of course not. What an idea. We do despise each other, yes, as lovers do, but he can't flip my switch, as it were. He's got too many ideas.
You don't like them with ideas, then?
No, I like them unsullied by knowledge, virginal in their ignorance, like you. Men who have never once for an instant had to second guess whether or not they belong in this world, who have never been screamed at in the street and then thought, hang on, that cruel stranger hurling abuse at me, are they right? I get enough of that with my own existence. Besides, I have a wicked suspicion that Morris occasionally prefers women.
How horrible.
It's not horrible. I hear the French are doing it more and more these days, although I'm not sure how they manage. Mixed couples seem so naturally incompatible. But if it makes him happy, who am I to judge?
I am fortunate to have such a tolerant friend of the modern age.
Elwood takes a picture. While Morris speaks, he and Jasper take a break so Jasper can pour himself a drink.
Look, ask any pleb on the street, why do all people without a little chap get called a lady, and all people with a little chap get called chaps? Why does one have to wear trousers and play golf, and why does the other have to use curlers and act impressed all the time? Oh, it's God's law, they'll say. Or if they think they're scientific for some reason, they'll say, it's nature's law. Well, there is no God. So to hell with all this nonsense we made up on a whim.
What about nature?
Any scientist worth his cock knows that nature is far stranger than anyone can imagine, and we haven't a clue how all its laws work, if it has any at all.
Elwood has been examining a scrap of paper from Morris's mess.
Morris, what is this?
I told you, it's my manifesto.
From where I'm standing, it looks awfully like a review for a lady's complexion cream.
You might think it is with your tiny brain, Elwood, but it's actually a call to arms for the women of the world to cast off their shackles.
I should think something like that ought to be written by a woman. Otherwise, it's just another man telling what to do, isn't it?
That's why I use a pseudonym.
Sally Pinchfeathers?
Yes, Stroppy Sally.
Elwood matches it to the writer of the magazine article in his hand.
You write reviews for the Ladies' Quarterly?
Not everyone is a bourgeois dog fed and groomed by their aristo scum masters for just a wag of their fluffy fucking tails. Some of us have to work for a living.
Dear heart, who on earth are you performing for? Are you jealous that I'm getting my picture taken and you're not?
I don't see what's so beautiful about him. I have the honest beauty that can only come from suffering.
But Morris, I would love to take your picture.
What, really?
Of course.
Well, I shan't play those vain games. I want people to listen to my words, not fawn over my body.
Well, there's no danger there.
Besides, I know your type. You're going to go straight to the Ladies' Quarterly and expose Sally Pinchfeather as really being a man, and then I'll lose all my credibility as far as the complexion creams are concerned, so keep that lens away from me.
I would never do that. Never! Is that what you think I am? Some outsider looking to pull the curtains open on your private lives? I asked Jasper's permission before sending his portrait to the society papers. If you don't want your picture taken, then you shan't have your picture taken. And that's that.
No one is accusing you of being one of those types. Let's all have a calming drink. There we are. Honestly, if you're going to have a brawl, at least have the decency to do it in front of an audience so I can take bets.
I don't need a drink. I need a clear head while I free the working class from their degenerate masters.
Well, there's no point in speaking to him while he's busy freeing the working class. Let's finish my portrait.
Elwood gets back to work.
It's just difficult to know where I stand here.
If you're talking about Beau, I know for a fact that she likes you very much. And since she's particularly dear to me, I want to make sure that you're going to treat her like a lady. Well, like a woman, at any case.
Yes, of course. I just don't want to make a mistake.
You will, believe me. The trick of it is to learn from your mistake and to not make it a woe is me fad. Don't be in mourning for your life.
I won't. I really just don't want to hurt her. More than I've done already.
She's not made of glass! I'm sorry, I'm just having trouble with my manifesto because two wet horses keep neighing and distracting me. I'm sorry again. I just really did want you to take my picture and I felt more vulnerable than I wanted. I'm the one who's wet.
You see, dear, don't do that.
Elwood's studio space. Night. Elwood is hanging new pictures.
It's as though someone unlocked all the cages and closed the zoo, letting all the animals mingle as they may. I've been told that this party set is lawless, living only for burning pleasure and dancing themselves into an early death. I expected them to be heartless, shallow, cruel, vicious. How could a lion not be vicious when no bars separate him from the gazelle? But this is not the wild. We are a city under siege. In Paris, they were trapped inside and ate all the zoo animals. We are keenly aware that we are all suffering under a segregated prison. We are not Parisians. We are the beasts. We simply cannot wait to bite, to scratch, to swim, to play, to breed. And perhaps, just perhaps, to look after our own. To not be eaten.
Whilst drawing his pictures, he begins to sway and sing along with his Victrola, being alone and free to do so. His bell rings. He passes through the lit portion of the room, shading his eyes that have grown accustomed to the dark room. He opens the door. It is the Countess. In a long cloak, with a fur collar that almost envelops her completely, she looks wild-eyed.
Contessa! What an unexpected pleasure. What can I do for you?
I've come for my portrait.
The Countess throws open her cloak dramatically, blocking the whole doorway with its gaudy lining. She is completely nude, except for a few necklaces.
Capture me.
End of Act 1.
Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Misbehave by Lawrence Gullo. We are about to proceed with Act 2, so please take your seats, steady your popcorn, and welcome back.
Act 2. Interior. The Countess's flat, night. It is early evening, and the party space from the previous riotous and crowded scenes is bare. Bernard stands in a place of honor with a wreath of flowers around his neck. There is a mirror, and a big basket full of the glassware from the previous party still waiting to be washed. The Countess is standing on a chair wearing a dress that is still being embellished and trails onto the floor. There is a ream of black buckram and fabric shears nearby. Beau is lounging on a sofa with a lady's quarterly in her hands. Her wig, that she usually wears at parties, is done up with a scarf.
Miracle Weaver, you are in my world now. Your body, your spirit, all that you are, and all that you have been, melting into my domain. We are one.
I'm still here, Countess.
Ah, there you are. Have your wanderings produced fruit?
What do you think of these butterflies?
A transformative beast, a swarm of many souls, all swimming through the air as one consciousness.
I don't know. Butterflies might be a little obvious. What if we made them dragonflies?
Perfection.
Beau springs up and lays the magazine down for reference, then begins cutting dragonfly shapes out of the buckram. As they speak, she positions them on the train of the dress, seeing where they should go.
You were the right one to come to my aid this night, after one has been immortalized in the nude. There are very few garments that seem worthy. Work your alchemy, as in the days of old, and you will be rewarded handsomely.
It's nice to spend the afternoon being artsy. You've no idea how boring some of the ladies at the shop are. They're so afraid of taking a leap, of making a statement, and they have so many good chances too.
My sweet alchemist, they are nothing. As always, you will weave thrice the wonder in half the time.
Did I die young in my past life?
Now let me think. Look at me.
She peers into Beau's eyes, then gasps.
Priestess! Was that you too? Oh, forgive me for not seeing it sooner. You had 10 charming serpents at your command, who kept you safe from the king's legions. We worshipped at your feet in private, in secret. It was all the sweeter to pray to the goddess when forbidden. And how you would dance. Madness! Shattering madness when you danced. You chose a short lot that century, yes, but only because the Black Death swept the land. I was laid low by it too, both my beloveds. It was a sorry time, but oh, we were beautiful.
Beau puts two of the dragonflies on either side of her head.
What do you think?
The Countess gives this a respectful, serious consideration.
Your hair, your living hair, let me see it. Do not shy away, I will not hurt you.
Beau takes off her wig.
I've been trying to grow it out.
She lets the Countess run her fingers through it.
You are nearly there. What a color, like the shine on bronze.
The Countess arranges the scarf and the dragonflies into Beau's natural hair.
Now I see it. Yes, it really was you with your serpents. All of them had secrets, delightful secrets that they told only you.
I like hearing about my past lives, even if you only do it to make me happy.
Shame! I have lived 10,000 years and I have never lied, even when put to the question during that horrible Inquisition.
Would you tell me if I had really been wicked?
Oh, but you were. I saw 5 men destroy themselves because you did not let them into your temple to court you. You were dining only on the pledges and praises of women, you see, and suckling pigs. You did love the suckling pigs. so did your snakes.
But did I ever do something bad? Did I murder someone or burn a house down or betray my homeland?
Sweet one, we all have our moments of cruelty. Why do you wish to know?
Sometimes I think I must have done something really horrible before to deserve what I got now.
Oh, a life is not punishment. A life is chosen, then forgotten in the dark waters of Hades. I banish your hate, child. This is a house of love, and I see only the reward of a millennia of beauty in that vessel you occupy now.
That's easy for you to say. Even in this house, when the dancers like Horace put on a wig and heels for laughs, I feel like they're also laughing at me.
The Countess steps off her chair and takes Beau's face in her hands.
This wicked world in which we find ourselves is not our fault. You have been blessed with beauty. It is this setting that made it a burden, and my heart weeps to hear that you have felt like an outcast in my sacred chamber. You have been precious to me since I dabbed your sweating brow and pulled the leeches off your breast. I am sorry.
It isn't their fault. I would just sometimes rather be normal than beautiful.
I suspect that to be a lie of sorts.
Only sometimes.
You are stronger now. You have no need of worshippers.
Worshippers wouldn't be a bad thing, though.
No, and I suspect you may have one already, but you have no need of them. That priestess lives inside you still, surrounded by every soul who dedicated themselves to her. They are together a swarm. This togetherness is their reward. Wear your hair like this tonight. It suits you.
I guess it should have a night out before my manager sends me to the barber's. Thank you, Countess.
The bell strikes 9. I must call my dear Count and sing him to sleep over the wire. Lounge as you wish.
She sweeps out of the room. Beau remains, picking up and organizing the dragonflies.
It is easy when you are fortunate to create your own worlds. You may leave them for one duty or another, but they are always there, waiting to welcome you home. I seem to create my own world every day, every hour, and when I have to leave, it disappears. It's smothered by some terrible overcrowding, and I am lost again. I collect the embers and start again. It's easy to say you don't care about the opinion of others when people worship you. Are you there? My swarm? Are you protecting me? Say if you're there. I am here. I'm here. I'm here where you left me, so come find me.
Exterior. A little courtyard outside the vicar's house. Jasper and Morris scramble over some shrubs they've taken the long way around to approach the back door.
I've never seen you rough it so much, your lordship.
Don't know my private life, Morris.
Do you think he hates us now? People like that, they can get drunk on the hellfire and brimstone. Religion isn't just an opiate, it's also an upper.
I'm sure he's just been ill or something. Frightful infection of the throat from all the horn blowing.
Doesn't seem to make you poorly.
I'm exceptionally hardy for my station.
They hesitate at the door, neither wanting to knock. One keeps a distance from it, the other jams his hands in his pockets.
Go on.
Go on what? I'm not your mother.
I'd prefer if you did the knocking.
I'd rather not. I've got tender knuckles.
Well, what are we going to do? Stand around here like absolute wankers, then go home again?
This was your concern. Why can't you knock? What is it?
It's just that if I knocked, it might look like I was doing a task for you, like some kind of servant.
You act like my servant all the time in the club for fun.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be sarcastic in the daylight.
Not everything needs to be a metaphor, just knock.
Why don't we both knock? It will be more egalitarian.
It won't be the first time I've looked like a complete knob with you, come on.
They go forward to knock and are, of course, met with the vicar coming out instead. He is surprised to see them in daylight.
Ah, hello, Lance. Good to see you. Is something the matter?
Yes, something's bloody well the matter. You haven't been to the Countess's place in 3 weeks.
Has it really been that long?
We were beginning to think you died.
How lovely it is to know one has been missed. Come, tell me, how is the Countess?
You'd have liked the entrance she made Saturday night. Do you remember Elwood, the photographer?
Yes, of course.
Well, he took this really quite remarkable nude of the old relic. The priceless old relic, praise be to Isis.
Oh, you forgot, she's Boudica now.
Oh, blast it all, praise be to Boudica.
She had it blown up to the size of a wall, then got in a chariot with her spiked helm and burst through it into the room.
She nearly tore the place apart, it was ghastly.
Oh, it was amazing.
How wonderful. But wasn't Elwood upset? He seemed such a sensitive boy.
I say he was frightened at first, poor lamb, but he's gotten a good spot of patronage out of it.
Yes, lapping from the cupped hands of the rotting upper classes. Knew it was only a matter of time.
Well, dear boy, when you finally decide to end it all, you can call him to snap your descent into the Thames, chained to your marble Mark statue.
Make an artist out of him if it's the last thing I do, etc.
And Beau, is she still in attendance?
Yes, becoming rather an accomplished dancer now that she has a regular partner to practice on.
Elwood?
Jasper hands the vicar a little print of the photo of Beau that Elwood took at the bar.
She liked the look of him the moment he arrived, I could tell. And she deserves a bauble all to herself. Ah, I wish I could see them together.
But my dear man, why have you abandoned us?
Yes, explain yourself.
I hope you won't be too cross. My flock, you see.
Oh, I see. Your flock are respectable people and we're a bunch of degenerates. And when it came time to choose, the way was clear.
Morris, I do so would appreciate it if you kept your thoughts internal for a minute.
One of my flock, a Mrs. Wiltham, heard tell from her daughter about the parties and my moonlighting.
A snitch.
No. Her daughter is a lovely girl, beloved of the Countess, in fact, and was simply excited to tell her mother all about the fun she had. It was all very innocent. Unfortunately, Mrs. Wiltham doesn't think too highly of my moonlighting and took offense that I should be pursuing such pastimes.
And because Mrs. Wiltham knows, the whole congregation knows.
Precisely. Not that I ever kept it a secret, of course. I have never been ashamed to play the trombone, and I never will be ashamed.
Hear, hear.
But they all came to me in a group, you see.
They gave you an ultimatum?
It was more of a passionate request.
From your people, that's terrifying.
The result is I must put away the trombone for now and focus only on my flock. Early bedtimes from now on, I'm afraid.
The dogs. Accusing you of corrupting their children with decadent nightlife madness, while they confine their daughters in solitary for wearing their skirts too short, before wedding them off to cruel, slimy oligarchs, and beat their sons for wearing a bit of rouge, the same rouge worn by the Roman oppressors, whose very bare legs they'd have licked in gratitude for bringing a caricature of civilization to their homes.
I'm very sorry I told you to be quiet before. It must have busted something in your brain.
It's not fair!
Well, that's the thing about life, isn't it?
Morris is more distraught than usual and trundles away like an unhappy schoolboy.
I didn't expect to be so greatly missed.
They will learn to cope. Dear man, I hope it's not asking too much to have your ear for another moment.
Of course, my child, any time.
Before you go taking that tone with me, know that I'm still very much an acolyte of Isis.
Boudica.
Of Boudica. But I have always liked the positive outlook you have and the joy that you take in playing your music. And you know more about me than most.
Is this about your family?
I'm afraid it is. I too find myself at the receiving end of a group ultimatum. The powers that be wish me to change my ways or lose both my stipend and my inheritance.
Conditional care. I know it well.
I suppose I understand where they're coming from. I'm not exactly an attractive prospect for marriage as I am.
Jasper, that is not true. You shock me. I have never heard you speak so badly of yourself.
You shock me, Vicar, that you should know that I have no reverence for the disgusting blood ritual.
I can see how that would be troublesome for you. But if you married, surely they couldn't withhold your inheritance.
No, in that case, it would technically be in the hands of whomever I married.
Not a very attractive thought, I imagine. But you do prefer men, don't you? I've seen you dance with them.
Yes, of course, but marriage would be a debasement. It would be a surrender of the self.
Surely that would depend on who it was you marry. I know you don't think much of the institution, so allow me to pull back the blinds. A person's marriage is as unique as their complexion. Throughout history, weddings have been performed for all sorts of reasons. To save a life, to preserve a fortune, to allow two people to live together as they wish, to unite two countries, to prevent a country from breaking apart, to protect a child, to rescue a refugee. Are these not noble causes? A wedding does not need to be for duty or for love or even for fidelity, so long as you both go into the arrangement with your eyes open.
A joining of countries.
Yes, of course. I would only want you to be with the right person, naturally. And if you do not wish to, then, my dear boy, your family's money and property. It is not a great loss.
I don't follow.
I promise you it isn't. I think very highly of you, and I do not think you will wilt without something as vulgar as money.
Jasper crumples to the ground like a man begging for water in the desert.
Champagne! Champagne!
I think you have had your full of counsel. It is time for me to be respectable.
He steps over Jasper on his way out.
Good luck, my boy. Tell everyone at the club I miss them dearly.
Interior, Elwood studio space, day. Elwood has decorated his space to accommodate another sitter. This time, instead of draped fabric, it's draped in cellophane. There are many new photos pinned to the wall and on drying lines. His phone rings and he runs over to pick it up.
Hello? Oh, hello you? Were you thinking that indeed? Yes, please do. I'd love it. I've got everything ready. Of course, you can come straight from work. I don't mind. Oh, yes, I can do that. Yes, I promise, Beau. All right, see you then.
He hangs up the phone and frantically finishes the tidying and preparation he was doing. He unlocks the door and places a changing screen over it so there is a private area in the corner. He puts on a record.
I felt my soul open, not a flicker of inspiration, open and shut, letting in the barest flash of light to make an impression on my light-sensitive inner self. I felt my soul open and stay open until everything I knew, every habit, every assumption, every sad compromise was blasted away by pure, bright, blinding light. I am raw. I am full of judgments and condemnations of these judgments. I am a dialogue of self and observer of self, and then I feel my soul open, everything scrubbed and blanched away by salt water. And I think, is this how she felt when she knew? Venus, rising from the saline sea, vulnerable and intrepid. Is that how she feels every time my shutter opens and shuts, pinning her to a glass, saying, there you are. I found you. I feel found. Picked up off the sun-blasted beach. Found after years at sea. Held in the hand.
A knock at the door.
It's unlocked. Just come in. Mind the screen.
Beau enters, obscured by the changing screen, but we see she is still dressed from work.
Hello, darling. I'm just going to change. Won't be a moment.
Do you need the room? I can go hide in the back.
If you only knew the spaces I've quick changed in. I've got it down to a science.
Strange. I think this is the first time I've been alone in a room with you. We're usually surrounded by people.
That's not so strange. When I leave the club, I go poof and I disappear on the wind.
Don't go poof. I'd like you to stick around.
You have me in your little magic lantern. I'll buzz about it for a while, but when the sun comes up, I shall turn back into a pumpkin.
You've got me very bewildered.
He pours them both drinks.
Wait until you see what I'm wearing. It looks like Aubrey Beardsley sneezed and a dress came out.
One of the countesses?
No, one of mine.
Crackers, you are so clever. I forget sometimes.
What do you mean you forget?
Because you're so fun and pretty.
I can't be all of those things?
Why did I think that? Why did I think that? Sorry.
I have to make my own dresses. I've got a very particular shape and very unusual taste.
In this case, necessity is the mother of genius. Because that little silver number you wore to the Boudica party was...
Beau steps out in her Aubrey Beardsley vomit dress. It's strange and beautiful, and she has her head wrapped up in matching silk. Elwood is speechless.
What's the matter? Don't you like it?
I'm just having a lot of thoughts.
Well, that's no good. Have some, whatever.
She saw his poured drink in his hand and brings it up to his mouth.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about how I could shoot this. Here, get comfortable. Oh, no. The back is divine, too. But I don't want you facing away. How about a mirror?
He sets up the scene how he wants it.
Oh, no, you're not going to make me sit still, are you?
Darling, I've told you already I don't shoot movies.
But you've put music on, you silly boy. Now I want to dance.
It's going to be St. Vitus in here if you keep on like this.
He relents to dancing with her. They enjoy each other's company and enjoy seeing the dress move.
Are you going to capture my very essence, Elwood?
I'd like to, but you've got to grant me access to it.
I reckon I could do that. I feel very at ease with you. It's a very good quality for a cameraman. That's what I read anyway. Why are you looking at me like that?
Sorry, I'm just very touched you feel comfortable around me. It's something of an honor.
Don't get sugary, darling.
You just can't help dancing, can you?
I dance when I'm happy, and I don't get to be happy very often, so when I am happy, I'm just very, very happy. That's all.
An expression of the soul's exuberance, as the jazz vicar would say.
Oh, I do miss him so much, you know.
Me too. That new trombonist is a sham.
Jess says his congregation didn't like him hanging around with us degenerates, but we were his congregation too.
None of us are really the church-going types.
What if we did?
Did what?
What if we just showed up? No Molotov cocktails or anything.
That's Morris out then.
Just prim and proper in our best dresses, filling into the back, leaving carmine lip stains on page 72 of all the Bibles.
I'm not sure what it would do, aside from proving to his congregation that we're frightening sinners out to corrupt the youth.
But we wouldn't be doing it to prove anything to them. They don't matter. We'd be showing him we miss him.
And I suppose showing them that we exist outside of the deepest night.
Sometimes I do feel like a vampire, wearing a mask all day and only ever taking it off at night to dance.
Or here with me.
Yes, or here with you now. It feels nice. I'd like to go out and feel the sun on my legs and on my shoulders, but I'm too frightened.
But we'd protect you. Me, Jasper, Morris. We'd be your entourage. You know, I think we should go. I'd like to see you in daylight, too.
You want to go? You want to go to church with me?
I think we ought to.
You naughty boy. I come to your room alone, and now you want to take me to church. You will ruin me.
I'm a terrible influence. Oh, do that again.
Like this?
Just keep doing it. Again. Keep going. I'm going to take loads.
Like your horses.
He begins trotting around the room and he follows her with his camera.
Like what? Oh, yes. Like the horse movement pieces. Yes, you're right. Where are you going?
What is the light like in your hallway?
They both gallop off. Interior, Vicar's Parish. Rows of pews, a small but fierce collection of parishioners, and a podium at which Vicar is speaking of the Sermon on the Mount.
When thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and then when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. And thy Father, which seeth in secret, shall reward thee openly. This is more than a man instructing his persecuted followers on how to worship and also stay safe from their oppressors. This is an instruction in humility. When we give to the poor, when we are kind to the dispossessed, when we give alms, when we pray for those we cannot help directly, which I hope you all do, we must not do it as a public badge of our own virtue. We do not shout it from the rooftops. It is not a performance. It is simply who we are. It is how we find fulfillment. It is our heart's desire. Have you ever been a shoulder to cry on? If you have not, I recommend it. It is one of the most fulfilling sensations in the world. It is music. This week, I put to you the challenge. Find someone who needs your help and provide it without seeking reward or even acknowledgement. You don't need to report to me that you have done it. Just feel it within yourself. Know that if you have done something in secret, it is not lost. It is felt all around you, and it will stay with you. Think of our ancestors who heard these words the very first time in a world where faithfulness was chanted and boasted of. It is not so difficult to imagine. Think of yourself, a forbidden truth kindled like a fragile flame in your heart. Care for it in secret and seek no reward.
Slowly through this speech, elegantly decked out, Jasper, Morris, Beau, Elwood, and a few others from the party scenes file in and quietly infiltrate the pews. The vicar's surprise, which he tries to mask, causes some parishioners to glance back and be startled by the sudden appearance of young strangers. A young woman sitting next to her mother waves back at Beau, who blows her a kiss. At the end of the speech, Vicar goes to greet them, not embarrassed, but delighted to see them there. The regular congregation, who are essentially trapped inside, huddle together and conspire at the back of the stage.
My friends, how different you all look in daylight.
Sir, I have done for you more than I have done for any man. I arose at 8 o'clock in the morning and have come down to see you.
Your sacrifice has not gone unnoticed. How are you? Did you like the service? Morris, you didn't throw a single brick, so I shall consider that a victory.
Don't give him that much credit. He was asleep for most of it.
I liked it, Vicar, but it could have used more trombone.
Yes, I quite agree. Sadly, the acoustics in here just don't jive with it, and I'm afraid it wouldn't be appreciated by the audience.
Still, your showmanship does shine through. It sounded very sincere.
That's because it was sincere, Jazz.
What do you mean?
Hadn't a bloody clue you were really a vicar until now. Thought it was a costume or some sex thing.
Morris, it can be all three of those things.
I can't argue with that. Oh, it is a joy to see you all. You have brought me much happiness.
When are you coming back?
He isn't. He's abandoned us because we're too beastly for him and it harms his reputation.
Morris, don't do that.
Yes, Morris, emotional attacks are very unattractive.
I must go where I am needed, and I am needed here.
Suddenly, there is the sound of trumpets from outside, followed by a melodramatic wail.
What agent of chaos invited the Countess?
It would have been rude to exclude her. I didn't think she'd actually come.
Bo and Morris are quietly delighted by this turn and take their places at either side of the door to act as royal guardsmen. Morris is struck in the head by the Countess's gigantic hat as she enters. She is in day wear, but wears a fur coat that cannot be contained by the stage. Bo and Morris scramble to lift it from the floor for her.
Worry! She's a lovely woman, completely harmless.
Gabriel! I gazed to the heavens and no music came. Only the sound of rain. Rain! Tears from the dread God! Oh, terrible archangel, if I cannot hear your war horn, then shall I be forsaken.
She throws herself upon the floor.
Countess, I didn't know my trombone meant so much to you. I am deeply touched. Please get up. Come now. This is too much even for you.
Yes, I threw myself on the ground yesterday and he didn't so much as gasp.
Absolve me, for I have thrown 10,000 of your kin to the lions, and I fear they wait for me beyond the shadowed gates.
I am not a priest, my dear, but for what it's worth, I absolve you for the lions.
Rapture! Come, shadow catcher. My bones are weak.
Gets up with effort and assisted by Elwood. She heaves a sigh, fumbles in her coat for a cigarette, lights it, and glides from the room.
Hail, who are we today, Contessa?
Julia Drusilla!
Ave, Julia Drusilla!
Ave!
Hey!
The party set all echo Ave, including the vicar, by nature's habit.
I suppose you'll be wanting us to leave.
My friends, I would never, ever demand that you leave my parish. However, I am asking you to.
Good luck, sir.
Bo and Jasper give the vicar a cheek kiss goodbye. Elwood shakes his hand, and Morris gives him a hug. They file out. Exterior. On the way home. Elwood and Bo have found a place to sit together.
This is unbelievable.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I don't think. Just being outside, I feel like I'm naked. Am I naked?
No, I don't think so.
I feel frightened, but happy, like diving into a lake on a hot day, but all the time, you know?
Yes. Don't worry. You're safe.
I'm not. I have a friend, Katrina. She lives in Berlin. She knows about a dozen ladies like us, all different ages. They go to the same doctor.
Oh?
Mm-hmm. He helps them to blend in so they can all go out. So they can all go out all of the time if they like, even alone.
I'd like to visit Berlin sometime. We could visit her together.
I don't think I'd like to. She used to make fun of these boys who went around in matching shirts, yelling about how the modern world has killed manliness. Everyone laughs at them, but they don't go away. One of them broke her arm last week.
Elwood doesn't know what to say, so he just holds her hand.
I'll keep you safe.
I hope this doesn't hurt your feelings, darling, but you're not exactly the most intimidating person I've ever met. But I like that about you.
All right. Well, I'll stay next to you, even when you're not safe.
You keep me safe with this.
He points to his camera.
Whenever I have to cut my hair short or answer to sir, I think about the me that lives in here, sleeping, waiting to come out again.
I used to think taking pictures was a craft, or fascinating bit of science I could hold in my hand and experiment with. Then someone told me I was an artist. Jasper, I think.
But you are an artist, Elle. You paint portraits.
No. I'm a mirror. I tune and polish and adjust until the things I reflect are just right. But I don't create the beauty. The story is already there. I like that. It feels right.
Thank you for letting me see myself.
You're not happy. I mean, you're not unhappy, but you seem pensive.
So?
Well, you're not bouncing off the walls the way you usually are when I see you. It's different.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no! Thank you for trusting me with it. I like you, no matter how you're feeling.
You're being sugary again. You're very lucky I like desserts.
Bo presses his jacket collar between her fingers and finds a little thread.
Someone's got to stitch this for you.
Are you making an excuse to touch me?
Of course I am. You don't seem bothered.
Elwood shakes his head shyly. He takes her hand and tucks it inside the neck of his waistcoat so her fingertips rest against his shirt instead.
I don't mind at all.
Would you like to kiss me?
More than anything.
I wouldn't mind either.
They kiss. Interior, the Countess's flat, night. It is another party. This time, everyone is wearing lilies and other symbols of spring. Morris is reciting the Ballad of Reading Jail in an agitated manner in the background. Jasper and Bo are dancing together in the foreground.
Have you had him yet?
Jas, what a rude thing to ask. But yes, and he's delicious.
One loves to hear it.
What about yours?
Oh, my lady of springtime, the more special one is, the more difficult it is to find someone worthy.
It's true. He wasn't worthy then?
I'm afraid not. If only Morris had a prettier face and a quieter mouth.
Prettiness isn't everything.
I'm very glad to see you out and about.
I wish I could do it every day and night like you do.
The privilege of idleness. Once I inherit properly, you can float around my ancestral home like a little nymph, and you shan't have to peddle a single pocket square.
But no, who knows how long that will be? We might be old by then, or we might get unraveled. Someone's already pulled the vicar's thread out of our sweater.
My dear, you and I are bound together by a shared abnormality that is stickier than blood and more sacred than the covenant.
Don't say abnormality. It sounds so medical, and I hate doctors.
Speciality? No, too overused.
We are following the same star.
Rather unspecific, but I like the poetry.
The vicar has entered the scene, carrying his trombone case.
Good God, is that another vicar? Where do they come from?
No, that's our vicar.
They pull him out.
What are you doing here, my man? Abandoned your flock? Or did they throw you out for being a depraved lunatic?
Neither. Mrs. Wiltham took me aside most politely and said the congregation had seen just how much you lot need my guidance, and agreed that it would be cruel to deprive you of me.
So they're not going to give you a hard time about going out at night anymore? How splendid.
Yes, on the strict rule that I not bring you into services anymore, of course.
Wouldn't get caught dead there, so you're quite safe.
Oh, do have a dance with me, Father.
I'm not a priest. But yes, by all means.
He retreats into the crowd. Morris filters back out, finding Jasper.
People think suffering is the only way an artist can be truly great. And yes, there is something to say for writing from prison about the injustice of state punishment, especially when you're suffering crippling labour for the offence of buggering an aristocrat. But the damage that notion plays on the creative mind is evil. A suffering man will produce work to survive. A man worked to the bone will treasure his idleness and not wish to crowd it with deep thinking. A suffering man who can produce something of artistic worth is a miracle. This is why the idle classes should amplify the voices of those who... why do you look like that?
You've caught me at a tender moment.
Oh. Do you want me to go away?
No. What do you think of getting married?
It's an institution in which fathers sell their daughters to the highest bidder, where they remain an unpaid servant for the vague promise of joys anyone should be entitled to without giving away their freedom and their very name. Love, physical pleasure, comfort, stability. You're not playing.
I mean, what do you think of you and I getting married?
In God's name, why? And how?
Because my family is threatening to disinherit me if I don't either get married or stop living as I do.
Listen, I know I'm not in touch with these kind of things, but isn't it more traditional for you to marry a woman?
My simple chap, do you really not know this about me? I'm sure I explained it to you. You must have been blind drunk. Well, sit down.
You're not playing. It's unsettling.
Don't worry your tiny head. It's all very simple. You know how Beau is? The circumstances of her birth?
Yes, of course. I mean, I forgot a while ago, but I remembered again.
Well, I am following the same star. The circumstances of my birth made me the only child of Lord and Lady Pips of the Highgate Pips, but I cannot inherit properly until I am married because the powers that be, yes, comrade, the powers that you yourself heroically struggle against every moment you draw breath are under the impression that I am not a man.
Chaz, are you telling me, after all these years, you really are aristo scum?
I'm afraid so.
Morris melts onto the floor.
I have never lied to you about my upbringing, you oaf.
I thought all this time you were joking.
Well, do get over it quickly. I would like an answer to my proposal.
Why me?
Because you are my very closest friend, and we have no interest in sleeping with each other, and it would be the most humiliating choice possible for the Pips family line to have an anarchist upstart in the family.
Morris has slowly corrected this.
For you, dear friend, I will bear this sacrifice, though no one at the cafes will take me seriously anymore if I'm a lord. How on earth can I fight for freedom if I'm attending dinner parties and using soup spoons?
Well, first of all, you can relinquish Sally Pinchfeather and give that job to Beau. She knows a lot more about beauty creams than you do. Then she can stop working at that horrible little haberdashery.
I'll need at least 6 months to train her to lace her reviews with secret code to help liberate women.
I'm sure she can manage that just fine. Come, you can live on the Pips estate and pretend to be vacant nobility, all the while secretly fighting for freedom. Just like the Scarlet Pimpernel. Come on, the vicar is playing Fat Swallow.
The Scarlet Pimpernel saved upper-class criminals from the justice they deserved.
I can't wait to stop ignoring you as a friend and start ignoring you as a husband.
Oh, you can go on ignoring all you like. I'm already making plans on how to redistribute your wealth.
Our wealth, dear man.
They mix into the crowd. The two pairs dance, and the vicar plays.
So ends Let's Misbehave. I'd like to thank you all for watching. We are going to introduce our cast for this evening. I myself am Viktor Devonne. I played the politician and also the voice on the telephone. Please welcome to the stage as our stage direction speaker, Sebastian Crane.
Hello. I'm Sebastian, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mr_F__.
As Hazel, we had Kyra Sims.
Hi. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lily Mischief. Lily like the flower, mischief like what a scamp does. Also, my company is having its annual gala digitally next week on October 15th. You can find all the information about that at NY Neo Futurists.
As Bianca, we had Iris Explosion.
Hi everyone, I'm Iris. You can't find me anywhere and I have nothing to promote, but do check out Swap Behind Bars. It's a charity that donates and helps out incarcerated sex workers, and yeah, have a great night.
As our vicar, we had Luke Reynolds.
Bless you all. No, it's all serious. Thank you all for coming. Luke Reynolds, you can find me at LeReinel at both Twitter and Instagram. And thank you, Lewd, for writing this and putting it and having us all do it.
As our countess, we had Leanna Renee Hieber.
Hello, darlings. I'm on Twitter at Leanna Renee. My website is leannareneehieber.com, where you can find all of my novels. I am also a novelist. I have a Etsy store called Torch and Arrow, so it has eclectic countess-like things on it. And I definitely have been loving supporting One Tree Planted, which for $1 a tree is reforesting California after the forest.
As Morris, we had Abe Goldfarb.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming. On Twitter, you can find me at Abe Goldfarb, ABEGOLDFARB. I have nothing to promote, but please consider giving to Glitz. It's a Black-owned charity dedicated to the health and rights crises faced by transgender sex workers using harm reduction, human rights principles, economic and social justice. You can find their website at glitzinc.org. That's GLITSINC.org. And I was just so happy to be a part of this tonight.
As Beau, we have Renee LeJeune.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. This has been so much fun. So I want to thank Lewd and everybody for having me. I do not have a Twitter or an Instagram or any of that stuff. I do have a website link that was put in the comments. It's rainette.net. I'm mainly a playwright and a writer, so you can find my work there. So thank you.
And as Elwood and our host this evening on Twitch, we have Geoff Moonen.
Hi there, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out, checking this out, being part of the chat, doing everything. You can find me here. Usually I'm playing video games, but this was a very nice thing to do instead with all these wonderful, talented people. And you can find me on Twitter at Geoff, Geoff, makes noise. I have nothing in particular to promote, only to say that support the charities mentioned by all these other amazing performers.
And finally, as Jasper and our author, we have Lawrence Gullo, aka Lewd Alfred Douglas.
Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in and to all of the cast who brought this to life, even though it's not Oscar Wilde, it's just me. It was just wonderful to have this happen. I'm at His Majesty on Twitter. I am also collecting tips for all the performers on Venmo, also at His Majesty. I'm really sorry that the title card was wrong. I've got quarantine brain. But if you toss some tips that way, I will distribute it evenly among the performers, and also scroll up in the chat for all of the charities mentioned. Thank you so much for letting us do this, and thank you to our host, Geoff.
So I think just to close things out for the evening or afternoon, if you are not Eastern Standard Time, Actually, could we just get everybody in the cast to turn their camera on one more time? Just wave, smile. You don't have to have the microphone on. Please, everybody bask in these amazing artists and just truly strange and wonderful people that we are all fortunate to share some time with. Thank you again for coming on this afternoon to witness some wonderful, strange art. I said this at the end of Importance of Being Earnest, and I stand by it. Anything but mindless good taste. Please do your best to stay safe, stay sane, look after those that you can, look after and count yourself as amongst them. Thank you so much. We will speak again when we can, see each other when we do, and until then, we love you. Good night.